I decided that I was going to talk away from the podium because it makes me feel too much like an attorney in trial. So here I am doing something a little more natural this evening. The reason why I wanted to give a TED Talk tonight is because I've been asked a number of times to explain why it is that I have volunteered so much time and energy to the College of Idaho. So let me explain it this way. When I step onto this campus, I feel like I'm coming home. It is home to a place where I learned to make lifelong friends, such as Marilyn, my roommate. It is a place where I learned to try new things in a relative safe place. I found out that I don't like working in a lab all day, and my lab partner, Chris Miller, is excellent at it, and she was the one perfect for working at different laboratories. I ended up going a totally different direction and chaining myself to a computer, a telephone, and a desk. And it's perfect for me. In 1969, I decided, as you heard from the awards ceremony, to go to UCLA and see if that would be a fit for me. My parents were adamant that I go to a private school, but I wanted to see what else was out there. And as I stood in a lecture hall of close to 500 seats and couldn't see the blackboard from the top seat, I said, how in the world can I possibly learn here? And I was told, well, you have a TA. And I said, you've got to be kidding. So anyway, then I looked at the fact that my parents said, well, you can live at home, go to Whittier College, 3 miles from the house, or you can go to the Pomona colleges, maybe 12 miles away, 14 miles away. And I said, no, that's not what I want. I am one of those people who actually does like change. But what I want when I go to change is I want to have challenge and I want to have adventure. And so I said, I've got to find something different. And this is where Bob Post comes in with my high school advisor. And Bob introduces me to the College of Idaho. He provides me with enough information so that I can see that the college looks fabulous on paper. It looks great. I've got this shiny brochure. I can get a degree in biology, just what I want, even though my dad wants me to be an engineer, which is never going to happen. And he gives me information on what it's going to cost, and I can actually go to college up here, including airfare, et cetera, for cheaper than I can go to a Pomona college, Abby. Anyway, so I talked to my dad, I do a business plan, and he says, okay, you're mature enough to go, so we'll let you go 900 miles away. And as you heard earlier, I get dropped off at campus, and I go, oh my God, I don't know a single person here. What am I doing to myself? But I made friends, and I started this adventure and challenge of 4 years here, and it was a perfect fit for me. The class sizes were perfect. I got to take classes with Lyle Stanford and Pat Packard to Lamar Bollinger and General Sawyer. I took Cowboy Lit from Louis Atterbury, and I took Western Civ from Frank Speck, and there were so many other amazing faculty that I don't have time to talk about them tonight. But in addition to those people, there are other people that I wanted to acknowledge who made an impact on me and really helped me become the person I am today. Of course, I thought at the time, here I am 17 years old, that I was living on my own. What an idiot was I. Here I am living in a dormitory. I have a food plan. How on my own am I really? But there are people that were really helpful to me. Russell Monahan was the dean of students here at the time I was here. He had an open door policy, and he let me come in to his office when he wasn't in a meeting or in a conference and talk about anything I needed to talk about, whether it was questions about why things were done the way they were, or where I had requests, like I wanted a key to the front door of Finney Hall my freshman year, and I didn't want to wait until I was a sophomore to get a key to a dorm. I wanted intervisitation when I was here. I wanted the guys that I liked who were friends, who were eating dinner with us from time to time, to be able to come to our dorm room and sit, Carrie and Mike to come and sit and talk before we went to dinner. And I thought that was reasonable. I grew up in a neighborhood of 30 boys and 5 girls. Having men around me was appropriate, and I wanted that. So I was in Monahan's office a number of times on that subject. To this day, I have an open door policy at my firm. I am open, when my door is open, anybody in the office can come in and talk to me. And I will stop what I'm doing and I will listen to whatever the issue is. So he was a major influence. The next person who was a major influence for me was Dwayne Leach, the dean of the college. I didn't talk to this man for the first 3 years I was here. I saw him on campus. I had no clue what he did. And then I get a summons to his office the first week of my senior year. And I'm trying to figure out what in the world did I do to get myself in trouble in 3 days. It turns out that my advisor had died over the summer, and Dean Leach took me on as his advisor. He usually advised 1 or 2 students a year, and I was the lucky one to get that advantage. He spent hours with me learning who I was, talking to me about what I wanted, and he's the one that said you should go to law school. The way you think, the way you do your, you want to do things, you'd be perfect in law. And I said, you've got to be kidding. I do not want to be Perry Mason. And it took him a while to convince me that I could do something other than criminal defense. And so I thought about it, and I went ahead and applied, and I actually got into 4 law schools. And so this college is not only great at getting people into med school, they get them into law school too. I went to Pepperdine, which was close to home. I then realized how much this college had taught me in not only education of critical thinking and basic education, but how to be resilient and to be able to stand up for myself. And I realized this on the first Monday night of law school when I'm standing up in a classroom of 80 students, and I'm being barraged with questions by my contracts professor. And I managed to answer some questions, so I did pretty well. And then I sat there and watched a bunch of my classmates crash and burn. So I learned how to think on my feet here, which was really important and is very important now for my profession. The third person that the additional person I want to talk to is Bonnie Brewitt. Marilyn and I lived in Finney the first year, and then we moved to Hayman for my last 3 years and her last 2 years. Mrs. B was a great dorm mom. She was there for me when I thought my heart was permanently broken at 19. She taught me how to play pinochle, and every so often on a Saturday night, Bob Jones and I and Mrs. B played pinochle. And after I challenged her and said I didn't really believe that she could do it, my senior year, she proved to me that she could find me if I wasn't asleep in my bed on a Saturday night. The dorm mothers here were amazing in the 70s. They were truly gifted women who really cared about their students. She made me feel safe here. She made me know that there was somebody I could go to if I needed to. And for that safety and security, it made me so much more confident when I left here. So those people have something to do with why I give back. But the more important thing I think for me is that I believe that the universe has a balance and that I have to be in balance with the universe. For me to be in balance, I have to be able to give back. I have an extraordinary life. As many of you know, I do adventure trips. I have been swimming with the whales, the humpback whales in Tonga, twice. I have been bitten by a sea lion pup in the Galapagos while I was playing chicken with another one. I have been shipwrecked in the Raja Ampat of Indonesia. And then there are the fabulous times where bike riding in Portugal and Holland with Karen. Abby and I have been in China together. Kelly and I and Karen doing community service work in Ecuador in June. So I have an amazing life. It's taken hard work to get there, but a good portion of why I have this amazing life is because of what I learned here and how I could make myself a successful attorney after I got out of here. To me, it is so important to give back. So again, thinking about the fact that I want challenges and I want adventure, I was up here 20 years ago, maybe more, and was in the admissions office, and they said, well, we got this thing coming up, it's called a college fair, and we don't know what's going on, and da-da-da-da. I said, let me try. It's Southern California, my backyard, let me try. Boy, was that an embarrassment. I had, across the aisle from me is Air Force Academy. Fancy tablecloth, slick brochures, and then I got UC Berkeley next to them. And I'm sitting there with my photographs from the college and cards to fill out. So I wrote about a 7-page single-spaced letter to admissions and said, this is what you have to do to get on board. If you really want to do this, this is how you have to start acting. This is what you have to start putting money into. This is what you have to start doing and supporting alumni to do this. And there was a lot of resistance, but slowly but surely they got on board and they let me continue doing college fairs. And I finally got my tablecloths and I got the slick brochures and I felt like I really belonged there. So, and the thing is why I do this is very similar to what you've heard from other people. To me, it's a way of not only giving back, but if I can, there I go, Jim. If I can touch one life, if I can get that one student who really belongs here, who will be a perfect fit for this college, who really needs to be at a college that's smaller, who needs to have more support, then I have made a difference. And that's what's so important to me. And that's why I keep doing it. Now, with regard to the alumni board, it's another fact of giving back, but in a different way. It has been so enriching to me to meet so many alumni from across the country who are dedicated to being part of the college community. I have been learning about Hawaiian culture in some of the workshops I've been doing with productive learning, and there are three values that, to me, make a big difference. First is lokahi, which is community. The second one is kuleana, which is personal responsibility. The third one is pono, which is doing the right thing. To me, this college is my community as an alum. It's the one I choose over Pepperdine. It's the one I choose over any other place I've been. This is the place that I choose to be my alumni community. To me, because it is my community, I have personal responsibility to do my best to make this college community the best it can be, however I can do that. And to me, doing the volunteer work that I do, contributing money, contributing time, is the right thing for me to do. It is my personal way of being. One of the many things with learning with productive learning is that I know what my mission in life is. My mission in life is to achieve acknowledgement by helping and giving to others, which is an absolutely perfect mission for somebody who's in law. It's an absolutely perfect mission for somebody who's a volunteer. And the acknowledgement is typically the letter I get from Jack that says, Diana, thank you so much for your contribution this year. And it's nothing more than that. It's simply the acknowledgement. And I, like so many others, function on acknowledgement. So it is important for me to be able to give back. It's important for me to have some way to contribute that's satisfying to me for acknowledgement. And that's how I function. And the other thing I want to mention is that I have some truly amazing friends who support me in doing this. And this is where I'm going to start crying now. What was that, Marilyn? Okay, I'll try. Obviously, Marilyn. Joanne, who I've worked with for 35 years. In fact, one story, get off a little track here. When I joined Montleone McCrory in 1984, I went from the corporate world, in-house counsel for a manufacturing and dewatering company, to a law firm. And I hoped that I would last a year and that I would manage to learn the way a law firm works, relearn civil procedure, and get enough skills at the end of 1985 when I got canned that I'd be able to find another job. August 20th, I started my 36th year with the firm. Thank you. So planning is good, as she said, for some things. Joanne's husband, Brian, great friend. Karen, Kelly, and Abby. Abby I've known for almost as long as Joanne. But Kelly and Karen and Abby have all traveled together on various trips, various times, and these kind of friends are just amazing. Not here tonight is Alan, who's 89 years old, and who is an amazing inspiration to me on how to learn, or how to live life as you age. He's wise, he's still sharp, and he's where I want to be when I get to be that age. And two other people who have been so helpful for me through the death of my mom, through changes, are Ellen and Patrick. They are the people who can say, you're full of it, or you said something really stupid, and I will actually listen to these two people, which is, for an attorney who likes to be right, that's pretty amazing. So in conclusion, I wanted to say, right now I don't have a project for the college, but Doug and Jim, I've got ideas, and I will be talking to you soon. Thank you very much.